Okay, I'm going to talk about the philosophy of life in many rooms. We have many rooms in our life. As a young man, I shared a room with my brother. I remember my mother saying, "Clean your room and make your bed." Okay, and if we did not, my father was sent upstairs to be the enforcer, and he would come up and be very gruff and make us clean our rooms and make the bed. Okay, as is normal, my brother was a little different than me. He actually sort of was very good at cleaning the room and making the bed. I never really was. But I do like a clean room. I mean, contrary to what you think, you can be a very much of a you could have a complete mess in your room and really like to have the feeling of a clean room and a made bed. But But as a young man, I never really accepted this, that I needed to clean my room. Okay, but I did realize that I was going to be chastised for forever, Mike. But one time I had a roommate in Bloomington, Indiana. He was Stan R. I'll say Stan R. From I was on 10th Street in Bloomington, Indiana, Indiana University. We were living in this apartment complex. And when I left the dishes in the sink without being washed, he would literally take them and put them into my bed. Okay, I found I found many things in my bed. Okay, anything sitting around was in my bed, and it was his very silent, passive way of making sure I realized I needed to clean up. And it was a problem with roommates, and all my life, whether any kind of roommate I had was a problem. But I always as time grew on, you have more than one room, right? At that point, I had an apartment, but I had common space like a shared kitchen and a shared living room. Then I had my private room. But as time goes on, I became more motivated. And what motivated me? Well, girls. Girls motivated me to clean my room. Okay, so I realized that there was a quid pro quo thing or whatever, an exchange, that if I was going to invite a woman or a girl to my room for any reason, for my house, for any reason, I needed to clean my room. But there's two types of gorgeous women, okay? The first one's a man who keeps his room perfectly cleaned and bed made, wears brand name clothing and Birkenstock sandals, and washes her. He wants us to wash our dishes, and everything is immaculately clean. And they want us to drive a Porsche or a Mercedes. That is not me. That's the number one type of woman. There's a second type of women that I don't think people realize, but when I was a recovering alcoholic, it was quite obvious that a lot of girls tried to save me, okay? The second type of woman wants to fix me, take care of me, spend their whole life trying to repair me, convince a man like me to clean his room and buy a new car. But I like a new car. I'm a project for them. So this is me. I'm normally a project for women that I date, okay? Now, as time's gone on, things have changed, but I realize there's many rooms in our life. And it's real easy when you're a youngster or teenager to keep one room relatively clean. And when I went to Indiana University, I actually had a private room, and I kept it relatively clean in the event that sometimes I had female friends that came over to visit. I really don't care much about the men. Okay, the dilemma is this. The dilemma is whether it's a girl that wants to fix me or a woman that just wants me to be that Birkenstock wearing, Porsche driving, Mercedes-Benz, has all these luxuries and lives, brand name clothing and all these stuff. They both, if they're intelligent and they're kind of a soulmate, I want either one of them. So I realized that either way I did it, I had to start taking care of my single room, right? Yes, I wanted to marry both girls, either girl number one or girl number two. Then when by chance I met one who was super intelligent, kind, happy, smiles, friendly, a person I trusted and never tired of listening to me, a soulmate. I think the number one feature that I like in a friend or a woman, a female friend, is that we like to listen to each other. Okay, we just generally could never tire of listening and talking to each other. But they both, whether they care to fix me or they're trying to get me to be this, guy that, in my opinion, kind of buys them. They buy them with a house, a car, Mercedes Benz. That's kind of a buying a girl. Okay, but we both eventually grow up. As we get older, we have a car outside in the garage that's too full of things to even park your car in there. I want you to really identify that a lot of people have garages, and if you go to a neighborhood, the cars are not in the garage because they're so full of things they have bought, whether it's the first type of woman or the second type of woman or whatever type of man you are. You keep buying more things, okay? But normally Birkenstock sandals they can have Birkenstock sandals, a tent, skis, a few bicycles, other toys of life. Okay, I never married either girl because I never cleaned my room, washed the dishes, or purchased Birkenstock sandals. I think people that wear Birkenstock sandals, I have to question what they're doing. Okay, but life has many rooms. We have many rooms. So we start out with one room as a child, and maybe we share it with somebody, and it's a limited amount of space, okay? So as we get older, but why life has many rooms? Why is my room a mess? Why don't I make the bed? Why don't I buy a car? Why don't I own a house? Why don't I work at a job? Why don't I have a wife? Why don't I live in one country? Okay. Henry David Thoreau's got a very, very impactful quote that the cost of a thing is the amount of what I call life, which is required to exchange for it immediately or in the long run. Henry David Thoreau. The cost of a thing is the amount of life we have to exchange for these things. And I learned earlier that I needed to clean my room for exchange of having friendship with women, okay? And I realized very quickly that strategically, and not everybody can think strategically. They say that only 5% of us can think strategically, but I recognized strategically that one room was something I was capable of sometimes having clean, okay? But I would exchange a clean room for friendship, okay? And as I got older, I realized they wanted me to have many rooms, okay? So when I bought a house, I actually would live in one room in the house and never use the living room, kitchen, hardly anything. I guess I used the kitchen a little bit, but I would generally just use my bedroom because I really didn't need the rest of that house. Okay, but I still enjoy the feeling of a good room. But to me, there's 4 rooms that we live in. Okay, the 4 rooms of Andy Lee Graham, me. Okay, life has many rooms. For me, Andy Lee Graham, there are 4 major rooms. One for experiences. The room of experiences, how we're having a bunch of experience. A second for books, films, and media. A third for talking with good friends. And a fourth for the meeting of new friends. So I have 4 categories or 4 rooms that I like to live in. And the rest of humanity, not really me, the 5th room of humanity, there is a 5th. They keep a 3-bedroom house, the car, the clothes, the wife, the Birkenstock shoes, sandals, and the Porsche parked in the street because really they keep the car parked in the street, the Porsche and the Mercedes and the Volvo and the Toyota and the crazy people with the Hummers or something like that. They park them in the street because their garage is too full. Okay, so what is the point of what I'm talking about? My life of one room is not really tolerated. It's socially unacceptable to live in one room. Even though Nikola Tesla did this, even Elon Musk talks about living in one room. But I learned a lesson about rooms. When I was young, I learned a lesson from my mother, father, roommates, and girlfriends. They want me to clean my room and wash the dishes, and I agree 100%. They are correct. I should do this because I like the feeling of a simple, organized, manageable life. Seems like a great idea, right? But the world is never happy. My friends have these big houses with many rooms, 2 or 3 cars, 2 or 3 cars, a 2-car garage with one of them remotes, and they hit that remote and they drive in there. Oops, they don't drive in there because the garage is too full. Car parked outside, some with Birkenstock sandals, others without. There's some people that have the Birkenstock sandals and others that don't have the Birkenstock stock sandals. I'll never forget when Jim Seltzer, a friend of mine, recommended I buy Birkenstock sandals, and they were like $85. And I thought, do I really want to exchange my life or time for this expensive of shoes? And I never have. But what's interesting of me, Andy Lee Graham, as a world traveler, I have lived in over 800 one-room hotels. And continually people want me to get like Airbnb, apartments and stuff. And I go, why would I want more than one room? Strategically, I learned when I was a kid that I could barely keep one room clean, okay? But I've lived in over 800 one-room hotels in over 114 countries, and I've done this for 26 years. I love my one-room hotel lifestyle. Why? Why do I love this lifestyle? Well, it's quite simple. It's a manageable amount of room to keep. I can always keep this one-room lifestyle clean. This one backpack, I got a front backpack and a big backpack, and that's all I have to keep organized. It's very manageable. I'm extremely organized. I'm capable of doing anything I want because I have the 4 rooms of my life: the experience, the media, the films. So if I have a friend, a woman that wants to come over, it's easy for me to watch a film with her, talk about our experiences, and go skiing and doing all these things, and meeting new friends, talking with my old friends. I always have time for everybody because I only have one room. The smaller the room, the less. The lesson I have learned is to keep my life simple. Easy to clean, organized, and acceptable because I like the feel of a clean room, capable. Why so many rooms? Why do you have so many? I'm often frustrated with my family and friends when I enter a business because they have all these things, right? This stuff. It's like a George Carlin video on stuff, right? And I go, they want me not to touch their stuff, okay? But I'm often frustrated as I walk around and I think of my mother and father, my best friends, and my new friends. And when I meet a woman that I could marry, and she wants a 3-bedroom house. A girl thought I was going to stop traveling to go live in Dallas last year and buy a 3-bedroom house and become part of suburbia. And I said, you want me to give up a 26 years of lifestyle of living in one room to have a house? And most people do not understand that I do not want a house. They believe that I actually somehow can't afford a house, although I've purchased over 60, okay? I don't know how many cars I purchased, probably at least 10 or 15. Okay, but the point is this. It's very easy to purchase a house. It's actually easier to purchase a house and a car and a lifestyle and their Birkenstock sandals than it is to live your life going to 114 countries for 26 years. But how many rooms are there in your life? My one-room life is simple, but people they do not understand it. They do not see it. They do not feel that I'm a reputable person because I live in one room. I was telling a person in Yatter, this guy in Lake Atalan, I said, you really ought to install a kitchen unit in each room so that people can say they live in a studio apartment. And he goes, why? I said, they don't want to call up their family and say, I live in a hotel room. I love to tell people I live in a hotel room because as an Andyism, one of my mannerisms, my proclivities, my things I like to do, I like to wind people up a little and see what the facial expression they have when they say I live in a hotel room. Because if they can't understand that this is simple, the 1 in 50 can actually understand that I have a very simple life. The other 49 think I'm kind of eccentric and insane, even though Nikola Tesla and Elon Musk like to promote the one-room living. One less to sit. I dream of marrying a woman who is happy with a one-room lifestyle. Life's many rooms. Okay, how many rooms are there in your life? My one-room life is simple, and I'm very frustrated when I go talk to people because they keep adding more rooms to their life. They have a room for, they got the garage, a 2-car garage, then they want to have a barn out back, then they want to have a walkout basement. They have so many things, so many rooms, that what happens is these rooms are filled up with things that they truly didn't learn their lesson when they were a young person. They cannot keep them clean. Okay, I can easily have a clean, organized, simple life with one room, but the minute you add on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I know that they don't understand that I'm cringing because I accepted that I should keep my one room clean, simple, and organized, and now these friends of mine have 10 rooms, 15 rooms. They have a business full of crazy things, so many things that they never can touch. They have purchased so many things that they cannot even use your garage. Are you capable of driving your car into the garage? Is the garage so full of stuff? Do you have a used storage place that has more of your stuff? Don't make fun of my one-room lifestyle, because to me, I learned my lesson that a one room is something I can manage and I'm capable of keeping organized. When you have many rooms, I worry about you because you didn't really learn how to clean your room, wash your dishes, and maintain your life. Who's more capable of being and we have this desire to control our time, manage our time in our life. Decrease the number of rooms in your life and you'll increase the enjoyment of your life. Okay, but understand that everybody's going to criticize you when you downsize. They think that the more, there's this idea that the more things you have in your life, the happier you are. And that's the truth. Really, the less you have is that you enable the happiness to be, it's much easier to be happy with only a few things than it is to be with a lot of things. Because what happens is you spend all your time trying to clean all the rooms of your life, and there are way too many. You will feel a lot more emotionally better if you only had a 3-room house instead of a 10-room house. Or you can see my point, right? This is an example of how to simplify your life. And if you don't, like, I have a policy, if I don't touch something for 3 months, I kind of discard it. I leave it in a hotel or I leave it. Everything in my life is something that is functional. I have a functional life because everything I carry with me is part of my gear, things that I use is part of my life. People collect things that don't really make their life more better. They make their life more disorganized by the number of things that they own and the number of rooms they have. It's simple. Just mathematically get rid of a lot of rooms. Try to decrease the number of rooms in your life, and you can be a lot happier. I'm here and you're not. Why not? I'm in California, where everybody has way more rooms than they could ever imagine, and mathematically they can't even hardly afford to have them. Okay, it's really an upside down economy here. Nobody can even retire because of the number of rooms they own. Hey, there's always a way to move to a place with a smaller city. A smaller city is manageable. The bigger the city, the bigger the problems. The more the population density, the bigger the problems. The more the cost per acre, the bigger the problems. Okay, I'm Andy Lee Graham. I'm here and you're not. Why not?